Woody Allen once said of a certain A-list actress, when she walks into a room, your buttons would melt. Well, I'd be inclined, following his recent return to form, to heed those words, because today, I'm going to meet her. So, welcome to the guest list, where today I'm lucky enough to be sitting down with a truly huge movie star and discussing just a few of the films they feel have influenced them. Episode 3, Season 2 of The Guest List brings us an Oscar-winning actress who's wowed Hollywood with her strong female roles. From super cute soccer mum to astronaut's wife to serial killer and political activist, she is an acting chameleon and not afraid of a good fight. Leading men just keep queuing up to share the screen with her, and today she's joining me on The Guest List. Charlize Theron, it's great to have you on The Guest List.
Thank you.
Is it true that one of your favourite movies when you were younger was Splash? And you did indeed have a crush on the lovely Tom Hanks?
What do you mean did?
He's still beautiful, you're right.
I love you, Tom. I just love you so much.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it was one of those things that, you know, when you're 8 years old and you see a mermaid fall in love with a guy in New York, it's like, you know, we just kind of melt. And I grew up in, you know, somewhat isolated environment where we didn't have like a lot of magazines, or I didn't know that Tom Hanks was like the way Tom Hanks is a celebrity, and I just thought, this guy has got such a cool job and he's so cute and I want to be the mermaid, and why can't I be the mermaid?
This is so weird.
This is one of those movies that just kind of, I think, you know, everybody has that one movie that kind of just stayed with you, and to me that was like, that was it.
Having seen Splash as well when I was very young, I have always found mermaids attractive. So forevermore, the idea of a part woman, part fish.
Do you always question when your lady gets into the bathtub and you're wondering, is the tail going to just kind of roll out, flap in front of you?
You don't know. I sometimes close my eyes.
Because I do that every time I get into a bathtub.
Really?
No.
Oh.
God.
Well, to get an even better idea of some of the movies that have meant something to you, Charlize Theron, we asked you to pick from our, well, rather expensive list. So if I might begin with Blade Runner. How old were you when you saw it, and what did it mean to you?
I saw it when I was a little older. I saw it when I think I was like 17 in Europe, and I was just blown away. I was just absolutely blown away. And it stuck with me. It was one of those, like, it had such a visual impact for me. And I will never forget the first time I got to go to Tokyo. It's Blade Runner. I was like, I'm in Blade Runner right now. This is amazing. But I think that movie visually is just incredible, and it's one of a kind.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
It's an art house movie masquerading as a sort of big blockbuster sci-fi film.
Yeah, and it would be even better if there was a mermaid in it. I might do that. That might be my big Hollywood producing.
Well, it's the right environment. The rain never stops falling in Blade Runner. No. She could survive in a little bucket, dragging herself along.
Yep, I think so. Just flapping like this on the street.
They have arms. Oh, that wasn't her arm.
No, that's my tail.
That was your tail.
It looked like my arm.
Yeah, it did. And it's one of those movies that sort of has several different versions. Now, there's obviously there's the original cut with a voiceover. Yeah. And then there's the Ridley Scott's one, and of course the recent one. Yeah. The final cut. Do you have a favourite?
I have seen them all. No, because I think the essence of the film is what really kind of rocked my boat, you know.
I like the original, the one with the voiceover, the one that a lot of people give a hard time to, because it sort of bookends it. It's a nice, complete film.
I hear you.
Yeah?
I totally agree with you. I hear what you're saying, but
it sounds like you like the ambiguity of the others, though. Am I right? The sort of, is he?
Don't pretend like you think you know what I'm thinking.
This whole process is me trying to get inside your head, and I took a gamble there and came up with nothing.
I like them both, and I think there's something when you start producing and you spend time in an editing room, you start realizing sometimes just how many different ways a film could end up.
Did you always know you were going to be an actress? Was it something you set out at a young age to be?
No, because like I said, I had no idea how actors did it. I was completely and utterly obsessed with ballet. My mom threw me in a ballet class when I was 4 years old, and that was kind of my first love, and all I wanted to do was just travel the world and be a dancer and all of that stuff. So acting really came way later in my life.
So another film you've put on your list of favourites is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window.
I was, I think, around 7 when I saw my first Hitchcock film, which was Rebecca, and I was just like, this is wow. And I've been a fan ever since. I think that Rear Window is one of those just classic Hitchcock films.
There's nothing to see.
What is, there is some. I've seen it through that window. I've seen bickering and family quarrels and mysterious trips at night and knives and saws and ropes. And now since last evening, not a sign of the wife. All right, now you tell me where she is.
I don't know.
What's she doing? Where is she?
Maybe he's leaving his wife. I don't know. I don't care. Lots of people have knives and saws and ropes around their houses. And lots of men don't speak to their wives all day. Lots of wives nag and men hate them and trouble starts. But very, very few of them end up in murder, if that's what you're thinking.
It's pretty hard for you to keep away from that word, isn't it?
He famously said the 3 most important things in film are script, script, script.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Is it the script that's most important to you?
It really is. I think that there has to be good material, and then I also think that even if it's not 100% with the script, that you have to believe that you're working with a filmmaker that can elevate that, whether it's in a rewrite or a rehearsal period or while you're on set, where it might not be on the page completely, but I do believe that it should be there at least 85%, yeah.
And it's important for you to be able to trust the director. I'm thinking, of course, like Paul Haggis, as the legend goes, wrote In the Valley of Ella for you.
Yeah.
And it must be quite a lovely experience to be able to trust a director.
You can't go and make a film unless there's trust. It just doesn't work. It's like falling in love. You just can't. You can't be in that kind of relationship, which it very much is that when you go and make a film. You know, you meet a stranger, and all of a sudden, you're supposed to believe that they're going to pull this thing off. And if you don't believe that, then you shouldn't do it. You know, that's why I sleep with every director I work with, because that is a sure way to know if it's going to work. Why are you laughing?
I am not. A clown just appeared behind you.
I'm highly insulted.
That
I
was
was sharing something with you there.
beautiful.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
And Paul Haggis was great.
Uh-huh.
His wife is so lovely. She's totally gonna kill me.
I often find complimenting someone's partner straight after suggesting I sleep with them, it smooths over all the cracks that might have developed.
This is one of the most surreal interviews I've ever had.
But fun, if you could
Yes.
say fun, because the boss is over there.
Incredible. I'm having the best time ever.
Well, join me in part 2 of the guest list when I'll be chatting more movies with the lovely Miss Charlize Theron. See you in a sec. Hello and welcome back to today's edition of The Guest List, where I'm lucky enough to be talking to Oscar-winning actress Charlize Theron. Obviously, you've got a phenomenal CV of movies. What was the first movie, though, that you ever remember seeing and referencing and going, oh, do you know what, I would love to be part of that industry?
I remember being really, really blown away by Meryl Streep's work, and you know, being 11, 12 years old and growing up on movies like Sophie's Choice and Kramer versus Kramer, I thought was really cool. That, you know, that's what 12-year-olds now are, you know, growing up on Lord of the Rings and kind of, and I was like dealing with divorce and the Holocaust, you know, and I was like, this is amazing. So I definitely, I mean, that's what that was the grain that I was raised on.
You're in the UK because you're promoting your new film, The Burning Plane, which you also exec produced. What's it about, first of all?
It's a story of redemption and forgiveness and love. It's the idea of a family and a young girl who's 15 watching her mother, played by Kim Basinger, go through a tremendous emptiness with her husband and with her family. And it's really kind of seen through this 15-year-old's eyes. She discovers herself years later in a different city trying to escape this event in her life, and she's kind of checked out from living life. She's kind of numb, she's dead, and just in complete she's a bit of a mess.
What do you want?
¿Esta es tu hija?
You're gonna be buried in hell with him. I want to see my daughter.
When was the last time you saw her?
I left her 2 days after she was born.
You're leaving again, aren't you?
Santiago, my dad is on his way to get you. Go down and come get me.
I left you because I was scared that you'd be like me.
It's a very deep and strong female role. Is it the character that attracted you to this film?
It's interesting because for me, I think of myself as a storyteller. You know, whether I'm in the film for 2 minutes or 3 hours is so irrelevant. I know that I'm very attracted to reading something and the overall story really kind of grabbing me. And what I find is that when you have a good story, the characters are usually good. So I guess it's a combination of both. I'm yet to read a really great story with a crap character in it.
I'm actually trying to think of one now, just
to kind of contradict me. That's great.
Yeah, actually,
wow,
what was
you make your guests feel really comfortable.
Well, I did build that sofa, so that's my handiwork.
No, keep contradicting me. That's great.
Okay, you do seem to be attracted to intense roles, though. I mean, like I'm thinking Monster, the role of Eileen Wuornos. I mean, that's a difficult character to portray on screen. And I remember at the time reading somewhere that Patty Jenkins, the director, said that she thought you had a certain ferocity which made you ideal for the role. Do you think you've got a ferocity about you?
I think I'm many things, like all women. This idea that, you know, we're just black or just white, you know, this idea that we're either, you know, great nurturers, that Madonna whore complex thing, you know, that there's like no medium, that we can't be really strong and really vulnerable at the same time, is something I just don't believe in.
We have to crack on with some more of your movies from this selection, because you've picked some great films.
Yes, because I'm getting very bored.
Right, I appreciate that. Let's cut that. Fargo. The Coen brothers. Now we've had a fair few guests sitting on the couch, and The Big Lebowski pops up time and time again.
It's such a great film too, yeah.
It is.
It's a cult classic, really, isn't it?
And what I keep hearing is it's very much an actor's movie, because the Coen brothers supply actors with characters that, like you said earlier, you can really get your teeth into.
Yeah.
What is it about Fargo that ticks the boxes of movie love for you?
My incredible love affair with Frances McDormand, who I would like to sleep with too.
Cool.
Yes.
I'll add it to the list.
I just think that she is the say-all and be-all of what I look at when I'm looking for a great actress. I mean, she really is like an icon for me. I got to work with her twice on 2 projects, and I think it happened because I basically started just stalking her. Whenever I was like, you know, it's at like a public event, I would just kind of blabber on about how much I loved her and her work, and I think she just wanted me to shut up. And so she was like, I will work with this girl just so that she will shut up. But I really do, I hold her in such high regard. And I just think that is one of, like, it's like in cinematic history, one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Mr. Lundegaard?
Huh? Yeah.
Could I take just a minute of your time here?
What is it all about?
Huh? Do you mind if I sit down? Carrying quite a load here. You're the owner here, Mr. Lundegaard?
Nah, executive sales manager.
Well, you can help me. My name's Marge Gunderson.
My father-in-law, he's the owner.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm a police officer from up Brainerd, investigating some malfeasance. And I was just wondering if you'd had any new vehicles stolen off the lot in the past couple of weeks.
Do you have a favourite scene in that film? It's a movie made up of some astonishing scenes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great moments. I love the relationship with her and her husband, you know, and him with the stamp collection. And she's like, oh, that's great, babe. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's very nice, babe.
It's terrific.
Hoffman's Blue Wing Teal got the 29 cent. People don't much use the 3 cent.
Oh, for peace, of course they do. Whenever they raise the postage, people need the little stamps.
Yeah?
When they're stuck with a bunch of the old ones.
Yeah. I guess.
I just think that that relationship was so beautiful to watch.
Famously, a Japanese film goer saw the film, believed the money was buried for real, went out looking for it, and tragically died in the snow, froze to death.
Wow.
The power of cinema.
Well, there you go. See, we can influence people to go do really stupid things.
You can.
That's great.
You can. I tried to stop a train after watching Hancock. It hurt.
You didn't try to become a prostitute like Eileen Wuornos?
Well,
Is that next on the list?
You can only go so long without a single client before you just go, well, there's something clearly wrong with me in this industry. Obviously, the Oscars have just been around again. Talk me through what it is like when you do hear your name read out.
It really is just probably the most craziest, surreal thing that I'll ever experience and had experienced in my life, for sure. They read your name and it's like, everything goes out the door. You know, you're just like, you're putty, and all I kept saying to myself was, if you cry, I will kill you. So, yeah, I killed myself afterwards. And it's hard because, you know, my mom was there and I was just like, don't look at her, don't look at her, don't look at her, don't look at me. Don't look at me, and I'm not looking. Because you were walking up on the stage and you're like, don't fall, don't trip. Is my ass looking okay?
Did you actually think that as you were walking on stage, is my ass looking okay?
Yeah, because I have this horrible fear that like a seam ripped open and I'm walking and my whole crack is hanging out and then I'm crying and I'm hysterical and I can't, and like my grammar's all messed up.
Let's move on to Out of Africa. It's a wonderful film. Did you pick it because of the beautiful landscape and obviously your South African heritage, or did you just pick it because it's a great piece of cinema?
It's a little bit of both. Look, I think it's a really, really beautiful epic film, and there's very few epic films that I think visually gave Africa that, I don't know, that beauty and that kind of romanticized idea of what Africa is, I think, to all of us. But at the core, it was very grounded, and the characters were what made the story so incredibly beautiful. So I'm sure there's a little bit of me being a South African and kind of just loving that. But I really do think it's a beautiful, epic film.
And I'm gonna take a guess at your favourite scene, if I might.
Yes, because by now you know me really well.
I feel like I do. I feel we've really bonded. I'm gonna say it's the famous romantic hair washing scene.
Yes.
It is?
Yes, it's just, come on, right?
Come on.
I mean,
how well do I know you? I'm in there.
Creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Security.
Farewell, farewell. But this I tell to thee, thou wedding guest. Lay your head back. He prayeth well who loveth well, both man and bird and beast.
I made every boyfriend I've ever been with do that to me. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not as fantastic as it is in the movie, because you really need to be out in the vista of a plane and a sink bathtub, and it's not the same when you do it in a New York apartment.
No?
Not so much.
Okay.
But I still force them to do it because it's, to me, like, so romantic.
Meryl Streep's Danish accent in that film is fantastic.
Yeah, but she's like the accent queen, isn't she, right?
Are you going to perhaps be taking tips? Because I believe a film that you're doing is called The Danish Girl.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's so hard to it's hard when something like that kind of leaks out, and because it's not a set, it's not completely set. Okay. It's something that I would that I'm really interested in, and the idea of working with Nicole would be really, really incredible. And if the right filmmaker came, if we can put the whole thing together, it would really, really be great. But it's not a greenlit film, and you probably just jinxed it now, and now I won't do the movie and probably miss out on my second Academy Award. But that's really nice of you.
Thanks. I'm so do you know what? I just spend so much time on the internet, and I eventually come across things, and you know.
You're just the destroyer of dreams.
I have been called a lot of things, but I put that in my top 5.
Okay, good.
Talking about me spending a lot of time on the internet, I don't want to destroy any more dreams. I just want you to confirm or deny or tell me to just shut up.
Yes. Okay, cool.
That can be our operative word. You don't like it? Shut up.
Beautiful.
I'll start talking about it, and then if you want to shut me up, just shut me up. Has there been any resolution on the whole whether Will Smith did or did not slap you on the set of Hancock?
I can do this all day.
Shut up.
Whether it was by accident or you leaned in. I mean, it's something I'd like to know, to be able to enjoy the movies of Will Smith again. I
have reflected on this since Hancock, and I deserved it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's so, here's the thing, because Will, if it was anybody else, it would have been one of those stories that nobody kind of picked up on. But Will is like the nicest guy that you'll ever meet, right? So when I told this story, stupidly, because we have this kind of brother-sister relationship where we mess around, and that's just kind of how it was from the first time that we met and started working. But the thing was, it was an accident, and it was, you know, I'm one of those people that will milk something until it's like the joke is dry, you know? And so we messed around about that, and then I brought it up casually, thinking like, of course everybody will put together, this is like the nicest guy ever. He would never do that. And then everybody was like, oh my God, the dark side of Will Smith. And I was like...
You can confirm, though, he is actually a nice guy.
He is by far the nicest guy I've ever worked with.
I can now go watch £7, because I've been waiting for that. Charlize Theron, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the guest list.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. So there you go, the fantastic Charlize Theron, who I think will walk away from that interview going, Alex Zane, what a cool guy. I came across calm, collected, not until like a weird mermaid fetishist. That is it for this guest list, but we'll be back next week. Until then, enjoy your movie watching. Bye-bye.